Living with a cat means living alongside an opinionated mystery. There is the cat sitting perfectly still in the hallway, staring at a featureless wall, or the one that vanishes for hours, only to appear on your chest the moment you lie down on the couch. We usually write these behaviors off as quirky personality traits. Even early animal behaviorists largely dismiss them, assuming cats were simply untrainable, aloof, or operating on random impulses. But when researchers started measuring these specific habits, the randomness disappeared. Your cat is running a continuous, silent background model of its environment. It is calculating invisible data points to predict what will happen next. You are the central variable in that model. Without understanding this mental map, it is easy to misread almost every action the animal takes. In 2021, a research team at Kyoto University tested whether cats actively track their owners, even when they are completely out of sight. They played the owner's voice from a speaker, then triggered it from a distant room, a location unreachable without passing the cat. The cats showed measurable surprise, shifting their attention to the impossible sound to resolve the physical error. The researchers identified this as sociospatial cognition. Sociospatial cognition is the ability to maintain a mental map of where specific individuals are located by combining the last sound they made, the direction they were moving, and the memorized layout of the physical space. That physical layout is also coded in a secondary layer of data, scent. When a cat rubs its face or flanks against your couch, it is depositing pheromones. Pheromones are chemical markers that encode time-stamped information about identity and familiarity. When an environment is wiped clean of this invisible data, like at a sterile veterinary clinic, or even just by rearranging the furniture in your living room, a calm cat can quickly panic. Every surface is blank. The ability to predict the space is gone. A cat's security depends on the integrity of this physical and chemical map. When those coordinates and markers remain consistent, the animal remains calm. A 2013 University of Tokyo study played recordings of strangers calling a cat's name, followed by their actual owner calling it. The cats easily distinguished their owner's voice from the stranger's. They rotated their ears and moved their heads. They knew exactly who was calling them. But almost none of them got up, and almost none of them vocalized in response. But that silence leads to flawed assumptions. A 2015 study at the University of Lincoln placed cats in stressful, unfamiliar situations and concluded they lacked attachment to their humans because they didn't seek comfort like dogs typically do. This split-screen chart illustrates the difference in those responses. The left side shows a dog's reaction to its owner, a jagged, high-energy spike of physical excitement. The right side shows the secure base effect often observed in cats. The secure base effect is a psychological phenomenon where the presence of a trusted caregiver lowers an animal's stress enough to let them safely explore their environment. Roughly 65% of cats display this secure attachment. When their owner returns to a room, they don't sprint to the door. Their stress simply drops, allowing them to calmly re-engage with the space. Expectations of dog-like behavior often blind us to what is actually happening. Cats process social information deeply, but express their comfort through the total absence of movement. That quiet, internal processing carries a heavy physiological cost. Researchers at Ohio State University found that when a cat's routine faces minor, unpredictable disruptions, like a slightly altered feeding schedule, even healthy cats can become physically ill. A stressed cat rarely becomes loud or destructive. Instead, it stops eating, overgrooms a patch of fur on its stomach, or starts eliminating outside the litter box. They are highly attuned to very specific signals to avoid this stress. A study at Oakland University showed that cats monitor their specific owner's emotional expressions. When an owner smiled, the cat was more likely to approach. When the owner frowned, the cat pulled away. However, strangers provoked no such reaction from the cats. In the wild, a small predator cannot afford to advertise vulnerability. House cats absorb the physiological cost of an unpredictable environment while maintaining a quiet exterior. This is the mechanism behind the cat waiting in the kitchen before you have even decided to feed it. It wasn't hungry at that exact moment by coincidence. It processed the time of day, the specific sound of your chair shifting, and the distinct posture you use when you are heading toward the kitchen instead of the bathroom. It made a prediction and moved. This silence is the byproduct of an animal processing a constant stream of invisible environmental data. When a cat ignores your call, it has already identified your voice and determined that movement isn't necessary. When it finally chooses to sit on your lap, it's because its complex map held true. You remained the most predictable coordinate in its world. Your cat tracks the subtle patterns of its world and chooses to reveal almost none of that work. If that changes how you look at the quiet animal staring at your hallway wall, subscribe to the channel. There is much more to explore.